Hello there, you guys, and welcome back to part 3 of our little Exploring the Dark Side series and preparing for the blissful time of fall. So I'm still dressed as a witch here, or half witch. I'm missing my hat, it's sitting over there. But anyway, today we're going to be doing a little bit more music theory just to play around with the light and the dark so that we can understand a little bit more about how they sound. So what we're going to do is take a moment and rewrite what we wrote out in the first video. We're going to explore G major and E minor today, which has an F sharp. I forgot to label that underneath our little circle. Take a screenshot of this. I'm going to hold it up. 1, 2, 3, screenshot. Or scribble it down. I'm going to be using G major for the light side and E minor for the dark side for today's examples. Okay, so let's start with the light side, for example. So all we need is a sentence. We're going to use a sentence to give us a rhythmic structure and kind of a sense of time. We don't necessarily need to use a sentence, but actually when you use a sentence, you can see how the vibe affects the words. Wouldn't it be nice if, when you spoke, you had a happy vibe behind what you were saying, or like a sad vibe behind what you were saying? That's why it's important for us to be aware of our tone, as all of us that have ever been in a relationship will understand. So let's come up with a sentence. Let's use the sentence, I had a cup of coffee this morning. So if we were to, instead of say the words, I've had a cup of coffee this morning, or I had a cup of coffee this morning, if we let the instrument say the words for us, if we're in G major, I'm going to start this out with just using the note G. I had a cup of coffee for breakfast this morning. Let's make it a little longer. I had a cup of coffee for breakfast this morning. Now I'm going to use the first 3 notes of the G major scale because the first 3 notes, they establish the vibe of the scale that we're in. So I'm going to put a G drone on in the background. Kind of happy. I'm going to continue and add the next couple notes, so I have the first 5 notes of the scale. Let's say that same sentence, I had a cup of coffee for breakfast this morning, in the dark side, and see how the dark side changes the expression of the words. So the dark side is E minor. I'm going to start with saying it just on the note E. Here's an E. I had a cup of coffee for breakfast this morning. Remember, the first 3 notes of the scale, they establish the vibe of the scale. So E, F sharp, G. Other notes that are nearby, which is good. So I'm going to add the first 5 notes. How about we turn it into the harmonic minor, where we actually raise the D sharp. We raise D to D sharp and we still have a C natural. cup of coffee for breakfast this morning. I can't ever resist doing that at the end. It's so dramatic to do like a magnificent flare at the end, a magnificent chord at the end. So anyway, you can see how being on the light side of the spectrum, it changes the vibe behind the words, the expression of the words. And having the dark side behind the words, it changes the expression and the feel of the words as well. And it's kind of funny to use as a kind of meaningless sentence to illustrate the light or the dark. So anyway, that is one of the magical aspects of major and minor. It's like you're a painter and you're coloring with the sound. Here's a splash of major here. Here's a splash of minor there. Let's pull on everyone's heartstrings there with the minor. Or let's just stay in minor the whole time and just be like really depressed. Or let's just stay on the, have this like fight between the light and the dark, and the light wins at the end kind of thing. So anyway, I hope that was entertaining for you this week. Keep your ears open for the light and the dark in the songs that you hear on the radio. If you go to a concert, if you make a point of listening to something classical this week, or listening to a symphony, if you can hear the different colors that are going on and try to become sensitive to the way that it feels. Does it feel like we're on the light side? Does it feel like we're on the dark side? Does it feel like we're going towards the orderly side of the spectrum? Or are we descending into chaos and everything with dissonance and discord? So keep your ears open, and I will see you very soon. Thank you for being here today.